Seniors. 5. Foods that help fight against cancer and repair. The body. Understanding the most critical determinant of whether an individual will develop cancer requires shifting focus away from predetermined genetic predispositions or family medical histories. Instead, the profound truth lies in the dynamic biological processes unfolding within your body at this very instant, as microscopic cancers are not merely a potentiality but an absolute certainty, actively forming within everyone, including those engaging with this information right now. However, the crucial insight that frequently eludes public understanding is that the trajectory of these nascent, microscopic cellular clusters, whether they remain benign and dormant or evolve into dangerous, clinically significant malignancies, is entirely contingent upon 3 sophisticated defense mechanisms meticulously controlled by your own physiological systems. Primarily, your remarkably intelligent immune system's constant vigilance and unparalleled capacity to detect, target, and decisively eliminate abnormal cells. Secondly, the discerning judgment of your intricate blood vessel network, which dictates whether to provide the vital sustenance required for these microscopic growths to flourish. And thirdly, the overarching inflammatory state of your body, an internal environment that can either effectively suppress and smother these potential threats or, conversely, fan their flames, providing fertile ground for their rapid expansion. As Dr. Becker, an emergency medicine physician and dedicated cancer researcher, I have spent nearly 3 decades immersed in the study of how the human body masterfully combats disease, witnessing firsthand the tragic consequences when these inherent natural defense mechanisms falter, leading to the manifestation of cancers that, with proper support, could have been intercepted and neutralized. Yet, in parallel to these somber observations, I have also encountered a truly remarkable phenomenon: the astounding ability of specific dietary components, consumed in precise quantities, to powerfully reawaken and activate these intrinsic defense systems, yielding beneficial effects even in individuals over the age of 60, and notably, even in those who have already received a cancer diagnosis. Within this comprehensive exploration, I will meticulously detail 5 specific foods, each scientifically validated through rigorous clinical studies, demonstrating their potent capacity to combat cancer at a fundamental cellular level. We will embark on a journey to unravel the intricate mechanisms through which each of these dietary powerhouses operates, leveraging multiple biological pathways to systematically starve burgeoning tumors, significantly bolster immune function, and actively facilitate the repair of damaged cellular tissues. Most importantly, to ensure direct applicability and efficacy, I will furnish you with the exact research-backed amounts that were employed in successful human trials, providing you with actionable doses that have demonstrably worked in real people, moving beyond mere speculation to tangible, evidence-based recommendations. Before we delve into these life-changing insights, a quick request. I often receive heartfelt messages from individuals who have benefited from several of my videos, but were unaware they hadn't subscribed. Please take a moment to double-check your subscription status right now. It's completely free, requires only a couple of seconds, and significantly amplifies this channel's reach, allowing this vital, potentially life-saving information to impact a wider audience who desperately need it. Now, let's confront a fundamental scientific reality that remains largely unknown to the general public. At any given moment, your body is hosting thousands of microscopic cancerous growths. This isn't a speculative theory or a hypothetical construct. It is a firmly established cornerstone of modern science. Research conducted through autopsies on individuals who died from unrelated causes, often accidents, revealing no prior cancer diagnosis or noticeable symptoms, consistently uncovers microscopic clusters of cancer cells in their tissues. For instance, a staggering 40% of women in their 40s are found to possess microscopic breast cancers, while 50% of men in their 50s harbor microscopic prostate cancers, and an even higher proportion, 70% of people in their 70s, exhibit microscopic thyroid cancers. Despite their prevalence, the vast majority of these never progress to become clinically overt, dangerous cancers. The critical question then arises: why? The answer lies in the exceptional efficiency and robustness of your body's three intrinsic defense systems, which tirelessly work to keep these potential threats meticulously in check. The first of these formidable defenses is your immune system, a complex and highly specialized network of cells constantly engaged in surveillance. Within this system, you possess specialized immune cells such as natural killer NK cells, T cells, and macrophages, which act as vigilant cellular sentinels. These specialized cells continuously patrol your body 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, meticulously searching for any abnormal cells, including those forming microscopic cancers. The moment they identify such a microscopic cancer, they spring into action, efficiently neutralizing and eliminating it. This incredible process unfolds thousands of times throughout your life, often without your conscious awareness or intervention. To conceptualize this, envision a sophisticated building security system. Security guards are perpetually inspecting every room and every floor. The instant they detect an intruder, they swiftly and decisively remove them. Your immune system performs this vital function incessantly, maintaining cellular order. The second crucial defense mechanism involves the precise control of inflammation. While inflammation is an indispensable and beneficial acute response, for example, when you cut your finger, it's your immune system rapidly deploying to the site to prevent infection and initiate the healing process. Chronic systemic inflammation presents a distinctly different and perilous scenario. Chronic inflammation is akin to having a persistent low-grade fire smoldering continuously within your body. This perpetual cellular conflagration releases a cascade of potent chemical signals that, unfortunately, instruct cells to accelerate their growth, divide more rapidly, and critically, to disregard normal cellular stop signals. Microscopic cancers, in particular, thrive in an inflammatory environment. It is, metaphorically speaking, like pouring highly combustible gasoline onto a flickering campfire. If you can effectively manage and keep inflammation levels low, those microscopic cancers are largely compelled to remain dormant, unable to progress or expand. Conversely, if inflammation is allowed to run unchecked, those cancers receive a powerful signal to aggressively expand. This fundamental principle explains why individuals afflicted with chronic inflammatory diseases consistently exhibit higher rates of cancer. It's not the underlying disease itself directly causing cancer, but rather the pervasive inflammatory environment it creates, effectively granting cancers permission to proliferate. The third defense mechanism, and one that is surprisingly unfamiliar to many people, is known as angiogenesis. Every single cell in your body requires a continuous supply of oxygen and vital nutrients, meticulously delivered by an intricate network of blood vessels. Your organs are richly interlaced with myriad tiny blood vessels, ensuring that every cell receives precisely what it needs to survive and function. However, here lies a truly fascinating aspect of cancer biology. Microscopic cancers, those tiny clusters of abnormal cells, are inherently unable to recruit or develop their own blood vessels spontaneously. They are simply too small. A cancer cannot exceed a critical size, approximately 2 millimeters, roughly the size of the tip of a ballpoint pen, without access to a dedicated blood supply. At this size, it effectively hits a growth limit and ceases to expand, remaining harmless. But if that microscopic cancer can cunningly manipulate your body into growing new blood vessels directly towards it, the entire biological landscape undergoes a dramatic and perilous transformation. Once these blood vessels successfully reach the tumor and begin to deliver oxygen and nutrients, that tumor can explode in size, potentially growing an astonishing 16,000 times larger in a mere 2 weeks. This dramatic difference marks the perilous transition between a harmless, undetectable speck of abnormal cells and a life-threatening, aggressive tumor. The natural process of forming new blood vessels, which is essential and healthy for wound healing and tissue repair, is called angiogenesis. However, when cancers artfully hijack this critical process, that is precisely when they become formidable and dangerous adversaries. Crucially, your body possesses the inherent power to actively refuse a cancer's insidious request for new blood vessels. When your anti-angiogenic defense systems are robust and functioning optimally, those blood vessels simply never develop, and the cancer remains microscopic and benign indefinitely. Conversely, when this defense is compromised or weakened, blood vessels proliferate, the cancer rapidly expands, and that is often the point at which individuals receive a devastating diagnosis. So, the pivotal question becomes, how can specific foods powerfully activate and fortify these three indispensable defense mechanisms? Allow me to meticulously break down the scientific underpinnings of each, providing you with precise amounts and optimal preparation methods to maximize their therapeutic potential. The first food we will explore is green tea, and its profound power warrants a detailed explanation. Green tea is replete with a class of beneficial compounds known as catechins, among which one particular compound, EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, stands out for its exceptional therapeutic properties. While remembering its complex chemical name isn't necessary, comprehending its multifaceted actions within your body is absolutely vital. Having extensively studied this compound in laboratory settings for many years, I can attest to its remarkable capabilities. EGCG is a natural phytochemical intrinsically present in tea leaves. When you brew a cup of tea, whether utilizing traditional tea bags, loose leaves, or finely ground matcha powder, the EGCG readily dissolves into the hot water, making it bioavailable for your consumption. Now let's delve into EGCG's three singularly critical effects within your physiological system. First and foremost, it dramatically reduces inflammation. Researchers at the University of California conducted a compelling study where they measured key inflammatory markers in participants both before and after an 8-week regimen of daily green tea consumption. The results were striking. They observed significant reductions ranging from 30% to 50% in major inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha. Such a profound reduction in inflammation, achieved simply through a beverage, is truly of pharmaceutical-level significance. Secondly, EGCG acts as a powerful enhancer for your immune system, specifically boosting the activity of natural killer NK cells. A study at Brigham Young University administered 3 cups of green tea daily to older adults over a 3-month period. At the conclusion of the study, measurements revealed an impressive 47% increase in natural killer cell function. This meant these crucial immune cells were nearly 50% more effective at actively hunting down and destroying abnormal cells, including those with cancerous potential. Thirdly, and this is perhaps the most astonishing mechanism, EGCG effectively severs the blood supply to tumors, exhibiting potent anti-angiogenic properties. In controlled laboratory studies, exposing tumor cells to EGCG consistently prevents them from recruiting new blood vessels, thereby constraining their growth and ensuring they remain small and contained. Furthermore, animal studies involving mice demonstrated that tumors in subjects given green tea extract grew an astounding 60% slower compared to tumors in mice provided with plain water. However, the most compelling evidence comes from human epidemiological studies. Researchers in Japan meticulously tracked over 8,000 individuals for a decade, comparing those who consumed 5 or more cups of green tea daily with those who drank less than 1 cup. The findings were profoundly significant. The high tea consumers exhibited a 40% lower incidence of colon cancer, a 30% lower rate of stomach cancer, and a remarkable 50% reduction in esophageal cancer. The particular efficacy against digestive cancers is logical. As you slowly sip green tea, it bathes your entire digestive tract, from your mouth and esophagus down into your stomach and through your intestines. Every mucosal surface it contacts is exposed to these protective catechins, effectively creating a powerful protective coating on your digestive system. Now, let's address the critical aspect of preparing green tea correctly, as many people inadvertently diminish its benefits. A common mistake is pouring boiling water directly onto tea leaves or tea bags. This scalding water actually damages the delicate catechins you are striving to extract. Moreover, consuming liquids that are excessively hot has been definitively linked to an increased risk of esophageal cancer due to the injury it inflicts upon delicate tissues. The correct methodology is as follows. Heat water until it is very hot but not yet boiling, ideally around 175 degrees Celsius, 80 degrees Celsius. If you lack a thermometer, bring the water to a full boil, then remove it from the heat and allow it to cool for approximately 3 minutes. Pour this tempered water over your tea leaves or bags and let it steep for a full 5 minutes. This serves two vital purposes. It provides ample time for the catechins to thoroughly dissolve into the water, and it allows the tea to cool to a safe and enjoyable drinking temperature. If you are using tea bags, actively dunk them repeatedly throughout the 5-minute steeping period. This physical agitation helps to dislodge and extract more catechins from the leaves. Based on numerous studies, the consistently effective therapeutic dose is 2 to 3 cups daily, not merely occasionally, but as a consistent daily practice. For those seeking the absolute maximum effect, consider incorporating matcha powder. Matcha is unique in that it consists of whole tea leaves, meticulously ground into a fine powder. When you consume matcha, you are ingesting the entirety of the tea leaf, not just the water-soluble compounds. 1 cup of matcha delivers a catechin content roughly equivalent to 10 cups of regular green tea, offering a concentrated dose of its benefits. The effective dose for matcha is 1 teaspoon of powder, whisked thoroughly into hot water, consumed once daily. The second powerful food category consists of broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables. This diverse and health-promoting family includes familiar items such as cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, cabbage, and bok choy. What elevates these vegetables to a special status is a distinct group of compounds known as sulforaphanes. These are sulfur-containing molecules responsible for the characteristic, often pungent, aroma released when these vegetables are cooked. While some individuals may find this smell less than appealing, it is precisely these sulfur compounds that represent potent medicine for your body. Sulforaphane exerts 3 primary beneficial actions within your physiological system. Firstly, it robustly activates your immune system. Scientific studies consistently demonstrate its ability to significantly increase both the production and activity of crucial immune cells, including natural killer cells and T cells. Secondly, it is a powerfully anti-inflammatory agent. Its mechanism of action involves activating a specific genetic pathway known as NRF2, which in turn switches on your body's own endogenous antioxidant production. Think of this as a superior strategy. Instead of relying on external dietary antioxidants, sulforaphane instructs your cells to synthesize their own, far more potent antioxidants. Thirdly, sulforaphane possesses strong anti-angiogenic properties, actively preventing tumors from recruiting the new blood vessels essential for their growth and expansion. However, a little-known fact about broccoli, and one that most people overlook, concerns its structure. The part we commonly consume, the florets resembling miniature trees, certainly contains sulforaphane, but the stalk, which is often discarded or left uneaten, contains twice as much. Discarding the stalk is a significant missed opportunity, as it is a concentrated source of this vital medicine. If the texture of the stalk proves too fibrous for your liking, several preparation methods can easily address this. Try slicing the stalk on a diagonal. This increases its surface area, allowing it to cook more quickly and become delightfully tender when sautéed with garlic and a drizzle of olive oil. Alternatively, finely chop the stalk and blend it seamlessly into a nourishing soup. A broccoli soup crafted with the nutrient-dense stalks, along with onions, garlic, rich vegetable broth, and a pinch of aromatic oregano, is not only absolutely delicious, but also profoundly loaded with sulforaphane. I make this recipe frequently and can provide it if desired. The effective dose, as determined by numerous studies, is approximately 1 cup of chopped broccoli daily, critically including the stalk to maximize sulforaphane intake. Now, the story of cruciferous vegetables becomes even more compelling with broccoli sprouts. These are essentially 3-day-old broccoli plants, meticulously grown from seeds, and visually resemble delicate alfalfa sprouts with their thin white stems and tiny green leaves. What makes these sprouts truly extraordinary is their astonishing concentration of sulforaphane, containing up to 100 times more than mature broccoli. This incredible disparity occurs because the plant is born with its full complement of sulforaphane precursors. As it grows into a large plant, this compound becomes distributed throughout the entire structure. The sprout, therefore, represents a highly concentrated dose of this vital medicine. A groundbreaking study at Johns Hopkins University administered 2 ounces of broccoli sprouts daily, roughly half a cup, to individuals identified as having a high risk of cancer. After a mere 3 months, cancer biomarkers in their blood and urine showed a remarkable 60% reduction. Furthermore, the researchers observed that the sprouts actively upregulated over 200 cancer-fighting genes, essentially switching on 200 protective genetic pathways simply by consuming sprouts. You can conveniently purchase broccoli sprouts at most health food stores, or, for a more cost-effective and hands-on approach, cultivate them effortlessly at home. All you require are specialized broccoli sprouting seeds, a standard mason jar, and 3 days. Place 2 tablespoons of seeds in the jar. Cover them with water overnight, then drain and rinse them thoroughly twice daily. By the 3rd day, you will have a bountiful supply of fresh, potent sprouts. This method costs virtually nothing, yet provides pharmaceutical-grade cancer protection directly from your kitchen. The 3rd remarkable food is papaya, which often comes as a surprise to many, as tropical fruits are not typically associated with medicinal properties. Papaya is an oblong, football-sized fruit. When perfectly ripe, it is typically cut in half, its glossy black seeds scooped out, revealing a vibrant orange, soft, and exquisitely sweet flesh. That characteristic orange hue is derived from powerful carotenoids, specifically beta-cryptoxanthin. This particular compound is not only a potent anti-inflammatory agent, but also exhibits strong anti-angiogenic effects, yet its specific impact on lung tissue is particularly noteworthy. Multiple epidemiological and clinical studies have consistently demonstrated that individuals who consume high amounts of beta-cryptoxanthin exhibit dramatically lower rates of lung cancer. A comprehensive study from Harvard University meticulously followed over 70,000 women for an extended period of 18 years, carefully tracking their dietary intake and cancer incidence. Women in the highest intake group for beta-cryptoxanthin showed an impressive 31% lower risk of lung cancer compared to those in the lowest intake group. Crucially, this protective effect remained consistent even in women who had a history of smoking earlier in their lives, indicating that the protective mechanism operates independently of smoking status. How does this protective effect manifest? Beta-cryptoxanthin preferentially concentrates in lung tissue. When you consume papaya, the carotenoids are absorbed into your bloodstream and then specifically accumulate in your lungs. There, they exert their beneficial effects by reducing inflammation and actively preventing the aberrant blood vessel growth that lung tumors require for their survival and expansion. The effective dose, as gleaned from research, is approximately 1 cup of fresh papaya daily, or 112 cups if using convenient frozen papaya chunks. A vital clarification must be made regarding fruit sugar. Some individuals mistakenly avoid fruit based on the dangerous oversimplification that sugar feeds cancer. While it is true that cancer cells utilize glucose for energy, it is equally true that all of your body's cells, including your brain and muscles, rely on glucose for fuel. The actual problem is not glucose itself, but rather the excessive insulin response triggered by consuming too much added sugar and highly refined carbohydrates. Fruit does contain natural sugars, but these sugars are elegantly packaged with crucial fiber, an array of vitamins, and powerful antioxidants, and in the case of papaya, potent anti-cancer compounds. The inherent fiber in whole fruit significantly slows down sugar absorption, preventing the rapid insulin spikes associated with fruit juice or processed sugars. Studies comparing individuals who consume whole fruit daily versus those who actively avoid it consistently demonstrate that fruit eaters exhibit lower cancer rates across a broad spectrum of cancer types. Therefore, embrace and consume papaya, berries, and other whole fruits. Critically, avoid fruit juice, which has been stripped of its beneficial fiber and concentrated into a liquid form of sugar, but recognize that whole fruit is undeniably protective. If you harbor concerns about blood sugar management, consider consuming fruit earlier in the day when your body's insulin sensitivity is generally highest, and pair it with a small amount of protein or healthy fat to further modulate and slow down sugar absorption. The fourth extraordinary food is purple potatoes, and for those who have never encountered them, a visual delight awaits. Purple potatoes possess an intriguing purplish skin on the outside, but upon slicing them open, the flesh reveals a stunning deep purple, almost violet hue. This captivating color is attributed to anthocyanins, the very same powerful compounds responsible for the blue color of blueberries and the vibrant red of red cabbage. These anthocyanins are formidable antioxidants and potent anti-inflammatory agents. Purple potatoes have been specifically investigated for their remarkable anti-cancer properties, with truly impressive results. Researchers at Penn State University administered purple potato extract to laboratory animals. Astonishingly, tumors in these animals grew a substantial 65% slower than in animals given regular white potato extract. Upon meticulous analysis of the underlying mechanisms, it was discovered that the anthocyanins were performing two critical functions. They were effectively cutting off the blood supply to the tumors, demonstrating a classic anti-angiogenic effect, and crucially, they were actively killing cancer stem cells. Let me elaborate on cancer stem cells, as this concept is profoundly significant. When an individual undergoes cancer treatment, be it surgery, chemotherapy, or radiation, the primary objective is to remove or eliminate all cancer cells. Frequently, the tumor visibly shrinks or disappears entirely, and the person may even be declared cancer-free. However, sometimes years later, the cancer tragically recurs. How does this happen? The insidious culprits are cancer stem cells. These represent a small, specialized subpopulation of cells nestled within a tumor that possess the unique and dangerous ability to regenerate the entire tumor. They are akin to the resilient seeds of a dandelion. You can mow down the visible plant, cutting off all the observable growth, but if the roots and seeds persist, the dandelion will inevitably regrow. Cancer stem cells are precisely those recalcitrant roots. Most conventional chemotherapy regimens effectively kill the bulk of the rapidly dividing cancer cells, but often fail to eradicate these persistent stem cells. Purple potatoes, specifically the anthocyanins they contain, have been demonstrably shown to kill cancer stem cells, particularly in colon cancer. A study at Ohio State University exposed colon cancer stem cells to purple potato extract. The extract selectively killed the stem cells while remarkably leaving normal colon cells completely unharmed. This is a prime example of selective toxicity, the ideal characteristic we seek in cancer treatments. Eliminate the cancer cells while sparing healthy tissue. How does one prepare purple potatoes to harness these benefits? They can be cooked in virtually any way you would prepare regular potatoes. Bake them, steam them, roast them, or sauté them. I particularly enjoy making a vibrant purple potato soup. Simply dice the potatoes, sauté them with onions and garlic, add vegetable broth, simmer until tender, and then blend to a creamy consistency. The resulting color is visually stunning, a deep purple, and the soup is exceptionally rich in anthocyanins. Here's a valuable pro tip. After cooking potatoes, allow them to cool completely and then refrigerate them. This process creates something called resistant starch. The starch molecules undergo a structural rearrangement upon cooling, making them resistant to digestion in the small intestine. This provides two key benefits. Firstly, they cause a smaller blood sugar spike when consumed, and secondly, they act as a prebiotic, nourishing your beneficial gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria ferment resistant starch, producing short-chain fatty acids that actively reduce inflammation throughout your entire body. Thus, cooked and cooled purple potatoes offer a synergistic cascade of benefits, powerful anti-cancer anthocyanins combined with resistant starch that feeds healthy gut bacteria, which in turn reduces inflammation, thereby contributing to cancer prevention. The effective dose is approximately 1 medium purple potato daily, or 1 cup of diced purple potatoes consumed several times per week. The fifth and final food, pomegranate, boasts a rich history of medicinal use spanning thousands of years. Pomegranates are typically the size of a large apple, characterized by a thick, leathery skin and a distinctive crown at their apex. When cut open, they reveal hundreds of glistening seeds, each encased in a small, translucent sac of deep red, jewel-toned juice, resembling an array of rubies. The flavor profile is a delightful combination of sweet and tart, distinctive and utterly delicious. Pomegranates contain a unique class of compounds known as allagitannins. These are large, complex molecules responsible for the pomegranate's vibrant color and characteristic tartness. When you consume pomegranate fruit or drink its juice, these allagitannins journey down into your colon, where your intricate gut bacteria break them down into smaller, highly bioactive compounds called urolithins. It is these urolithins that are primarily responsible for delivering the profound health benefits. Both allagitannins and urolithins perform several critical functions. First, they are powerfully anti-angiogenic, actively preventing tumors from developing the new blood vessels they desperately need to grow. A seminal study at UCLA administered pomegranate juice to men with prostate cancer who had previously undergone treatment but whose PSA, prostate-specific antigen, levels were unfortunately rising. Rising PSA after treatment typically signals a cancer recurrence or progression. These men consumed 8 ounces of pomegranate juice daily. Researchers meticulously tracked their PSA doubling time, the rate at which PSA levels doubled, indicating cancer growth speed. Before pomegranate juice intervention, the average PSA doubling time was a mere 15 months. After initiating daily pomegranate juice, this interval dramatically extended to an impressive 54 months. While the cancer was still present, its growth had been profoundly slowed. Some men maintained stable PSA levels for years on pomegranate juice alone, successfully delaying or avoiding the need for more aggressive conventional treatments. The researchers posited that the anti-angiogenic effects of the allagitannins effectively starved the microscopic cancer cells, inhibiting their expansion. Secondly, and equally fascinating, allagitannins selectively nourish a specific gut bacterium named Akkermansia mucinifila. This bacterium is increasingly recognized as one of the most critically important species in your gut for cancer prevention and overall metabolic health. Akkermansia resides within the protective mucus layer of your intestines. When you consume allagitannins from pomegranate, these compounds travel to your colon and stimulate your gut to produce more mucus, thereby creating a more hospitable habitat for Akkermansia to thrive and multiply. Why is this significant? Akkermansia communicates with your immune system through the gut wall, sending vital signals that activate your cancer-fighting immune cells. Studies involving cancer patients undergoing immunotherapy, treatments designed to unleash the immune system against cancer, have revealed a profound correlation. Patients who respond favorably, whose immune systems successfully attack and diminish the cancer, consistently exhibit high levels of Akkermansia. Conversely, patients who do not respond to immunotherapy often lack this crucial bacterium. In a groundbreaking experiment, when researchers transplanted Akkermansia from responding patients into non-responding patients, those previously unresponsive individuals suddenly began to respond positively to treatment. This underscores the astonishing fact that a single bacterial species can make a tangible difference between treatment success and failure, even life and death. How can you increase your Akkermansia levels? Pomegranate is undoubtedly one of the most effective and delicious ways. The recommended dose is 8 ounces of pomegranate juice daily. It is imperative to ensure it is 100% pure pomegranate juice, devoid of any added sugars or artificial ingredients often found in juice cocktails. Pure pomegranate juice is naturally tart. If you find it too intense, simply dilute it with an equal amount of water, such as 4 ounces of juice mixed with 4 ounces of water. Consume this daily. You can also directly eat the arils, the juicy sacs around the seeds. They are wonderfully delicious, sprinkled on salads, added to yogurt, or simply enjoyed by the handful. One medium pomegranate typically yields about 3 to 4 of a cup of arils. Consuming one whole pomegranate every few days or drinking 8 ounces of juice daily will consistently provide the necessary L-glutanins. Within as little as a week, your gut bacteria composition will begin to shift, and within a month, Akkermansia levels can increase substantially, contributing to a more robust anti-cancer environment. Now, let me present a practical and synergistic protocol that seamlessly combines all 5 of these powerful foods into your daily routine. This protocol is meticulously designed based on extensive research and my clinical experience. Begin your morning with 2 cups of green tea, ideally consumed with breakfast, carefully adhering to the proper brewing method I previously described. Let it steep adequately, allow it to cool to a safe temperature, and savor it slowly. Mid-morning, enjoy a healthy snack of papaya, approximately 1 cup of fresh or frozen chunks. If you find yourself still hungry, consider adding a small handful of nuts or seeds for additional protein and healthy fats. For lunch, integrate either broccoli sprouts or cooked broccoli with its nutrient-rich stalk. Half a cup of sprouts can be added to a sandwich or salad, or 1 cup of steamed broccoli can serve as a wholesome side dish. In the mid-afternoon, indulge in another cup of green tea. By this point, you will have consumed 3 cups, reaching the recommended therapeutic dose. For dinner, make purple potatoes a regular rotation in your meals. Bake them, roast them, or prepare the delicious soup I mentioned. Remember to let them cool completely after cooking, then refrigerate them if you wish to benefit from the resistant starch, reheating them gently before consumption. Finally, before bedtime, have 8 ounces of pomegranate juice, diluted with water if preferred. This strategic timing allows your gut bacteria ample time throughout the night to process the L-glutanins, nourishing your Akkermansia populations while you sleep. Drawing upon 3 decades of clinical practice, I offer these crucial pro tips. First, consistency is paramount, far outweighing sporadic intensity. Consuming these foods just once will not yield lasting physiological changes. It is the unwavering daily consumption, week after week, month after month, that gradually builds and sustains the protective effects. Your immune function will incrementally improve, inflammation will steadily subside over weeks, and Akkermansia populations will flourish over the course of a month. This is a profound lifestyle adjustment, not a fleeting quick fix. Second, when fresh produce is unavailable or economically unfeasible, do not hesitate to opt for frozen alternatives. Frozen papaya chunks, frozen broccoli florets, and even frozen pomegranate arils are all excellent choices. Often these products are flash frozen at their peak ripeness, thereby preserving their bioactive compounds more effectively than fresh produce that may have endured extended storage and transportation. Third, if you have an active cancer diagnosis or are currently undergoing treatment, it is essential to openly communicate your dietary choices to your oncologist. Rest assured, none of these foods are known to interfere with standard conventional cancer treatments. In fact, compelling research suggests they may even enhance treatment effectiveness, particularly for immunotherapies. However, your doctor should always be fully informed of all aspects of your health regimen. Fourth, these foods exert their most powerful effects when integrated into a broader anti-inflammatory dietary framework. Do not make the mistake of consuming these 5 beneficial foods only to then overload your diet with processed meats, fried foods, and excessive sugar. Such an approach would be counterproductive, effectively taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Instead, establish these 5 foods as the foundational pillars of your diet, then build around them with an abundance of other whole, unprocessed foods such as fish, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and a wide array of other vegetables. Fifth, Let's address the profound elephant in the room. What if you have already received a cancer diagnosis? Or what if the cancer is advanced? Are these foods still relevant? The unequivocal answer is yes, but with a realistic understanding of their role. These foods are not a substitute for conventional cancer treatment. If you have a tumor requiring surgical removal, pursue the surgery. If your oncologist recommends chemotherapy or radiation therapy, take those recommendations seriously. However, these foods can and should be powerfully integrated into your comprehensive treatment plan. Research clearly indicates that they can significantly enhance the efficacy of conventional treatments, substantially reduce uncomfortable side effects, and potentially play a crucial role in preventing recurrence. I have personally witnessed patients who diligently combined aggressive conventional treatments with these strategic dietary approaches. Their outcomes were consistently superior to those of patients who relied solely on conventional treatment. This manifested as a remarkably better quality of life throughout treatment, fewer debilitating side effects, and in many cases, significantly longer survival. Finally, there is one more crucial aspect I must address: the pervasive and often overwhelming emotion of fear. If you are consuming this information because you or a loved one has been diagnosed with cancer, it is entirely normal to feel scared. Cancer is, without question, a terrifying adversary. However, fear, if unchecked, can lead to paralysis, and paralysis is the ultimate enemy in the fight against disease. Here is what I consistently tell my patients: you possess far more control over your health than you realize. While you may not be able to control the cancer you already have, you absolutely can control what you choose to put into your body, starting at this very moment. Every single cup of green tea you consume actively engages and strengthens your immune system. Every serving of broccoli is diligently working to starve microscopic tumors of their growth fuel. Every glass of pomegranate juice is nourishing the specific bacteria that communicate with and activate your cancer-fighting immune cells. These are not passive hopes, but concrete actions, each with measurable biological effects within your body. You are not helpless in this fight. The scientific research is abundantly clear. Individuals over 60, those who have already received a cancer diagnosis, and even those with known genetic risk factors can all derive substantial benefits from incorporating these powerful foods into their daily lives. A seminal study from Harvard meticulously tracked over 50,000 men for 2 decades, revealing truly astonishing results. Men who consistently consumed the highest amounts of the foods I have meticulously discussed: cruciferous vegetables, green tea, and carotenoid-rich fruits like papaya, exhibited a remarkable 50% lower overall cancer mortality rate compared to men who consumed the lowest amounts. A 50% reduction is not a minor statistical blip. It represents a profound difference, potentially the difference between living and dying for countless individuals. Crucially, these are not exotic, prohibitively expensive superfoods sourced from remote corners of the Amazon rainforest. Green tea, broccoli, papaya, purple potatoes, and pomegranate are all readily available at your local conventional grocery store. The total estimated cost for a week's supply of these potent foods is perhaps a modest $20 to $30. Compare this insignificant sum to the astronomical financial burden of cancer treatment, the immeasurable cost of lost quality of life, and the tragic cost of a shortened lifespan. There is simply no comparison. If you have found this information to be valuable and empowering, I implore you to take one crucial action. Share this video with someone you care about, someone who genuinely needs this life-changing information: a parent, a spouse, a friend. Cancer is projected to affect 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women during their lifetime, making this knowledge universally relevant. The information contained within this comprehensive exploration has the profound potential to save a life. Additionally, I encourage you to check out my next video, where I will meticulously break down the foods that, unfortunately, actively increase cancer risk. the insidious culprits often hiding in plain sight that most people consume daily without fully grasping the inherent danger. I look forward to seeing you there. Dr. Becker out.